Hello, everybody. My name is Mark McDonald, and I'm welcome to the Digital Transformation Regulatory Bodies webcast. I'm a senior account executive at Gestisoft, and I'm thrilled to have you with us. My background, I've been with the Microsoft ecosystem for about 8 years now. Prior to that, I spent some time with regulatory bodies and associations as well, working with high stakes testing and psychometrics. So I'm replacing my colleague, Mariana, that you might have seen on our invitation. But joining us today, we have Todd Mercer, a Power Platform Technical Specialist from Microsoft. Excuse me. And Todd will be providing valuable insights on how Microsoft technologies can support your organization's digital transformation efforts. Some quick Q&A here. Feel free to submit your questions through the webinar via chat section. We will address those as we go through, but we'll also save some time at the end of the presentation as well. Now, before we dive into the capabilities of Microsoft's Power Platform, I just want to take a couple of minutes here to introduce you to Gestisoft. So at Gestisoft, we work with regulatory bodies and associations to modernize their operations, streamline processes, and improve member services through our solution, Legio. Now, Legio is a membership management platform built on Microsoft Power Apps, specifically designed to address unique needs for regulatory bodies and associations. Legio offers several key modules to simplify and optimize your most important processes. A couple of those are our membership management. We centralize members' data, track registrations, and manage renewals seamlessly. We have compliance monitoring. We ensure adherence to regulations with automated workflows and real-time tracking. We have complaint and discipline management. We simplify the handling of complaints and disciplinary actions through a structured, transparent process. Last but not least, we have continuing education as well, where we track and manage members' professional development requirements with ease. Now, Legio's modular design allows your organization to adopt only the features you need to scale as your requirements evolve. And this is really important for some of our clients when they come on board. They can grow with the solution as their organization grows as well. Now, by leveraging the flexibility of Microsoft Power Platform, these modules integrate seamlessly with the full Microsoft suite, creating a unified and efficient solution tailored to your needs. Now, this webinar, we're going to explore the capabilities of Microsoft Power Platform, of course, and how it can drive digital transformation of regulatory bodies and associations. And as a follow-up with this session, we're also offering a free Microsoft workshop. Now, this workshop provides a one-on-one session with one of our experts to evaluate your systems, uncover opportunities to streamline operations, and deliver actionable insights tailored to your organization's goals. It's really an excellent opportunity to gain expert guidance and practical steps to align your organization for long-term success. Now, details on how to reserve this will be sent via email at the end of this webcast. Now, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Todd, our Power Platform Technical Specialist at Microsoft, to take us through the Power Platform's capabilities, and how to easily develop low-code, no-code applications. Over to you, Todd.
Thank you, Mark. If you can go on to the next slide, definitely dive in. Go on to the next one, the overview. So as Mark mentioned, my name is Todd Mercer, and I'm a senior low-code technical specialist for Microsoft. So my focus is entirely with working with the Power Platform and creating solutions. I've been working with Microsoft a little over 4 years, and prior to that, I was a customer and a developer working with Dynamics Platform for almost 11 years, coming all the way from on-premise all the way up to deploying and delivering solutions in the cloud. So I've been working with the platform a long time, and I've seen it evolve from a small customization capability that started in the heart of Dynamics on-premise all the way to this wonderful platform we have the ability to work with today. So to introduce the platform in itself, it's really, it's evolved quite a bit from being able to deliver, customizations and custom UIs and model-driven applications to the full suite of capability and tool set you see there on the screen today. So we'll just run through a quick overview of the platform, and then we'll dive deeper into some of the other capabilities as we go through. The platform itself is built on top of Azure. So because of that, we are able to inherit all of the capabilities of identity and security management compliance from the Azure capabilities and stacks. And then moving out, so that's really the heart of the layer. Then moving out from that perspective, one of the core components of the Power Platform is Dataverse in itself, and it really is an incredibly powerful tool to develop and drive low-code solutions from. So Dataverse itself is really much more than a simple data repository to create a data model in. It comes with a suite of capabilities in terms of all the security management, being able to build and design and host forms and views and other capabilities. It covers your role-based access controls. It has the out-of-the-box capabilities to do auditing and all your backup capabilities. So when it comes to creating scalable, secure solutions for the organization, Dataverse is a wonderful component to start with. The connector ecosystem, as well as kind of really part of that supporting cast of the platform. The connectors are these UI capabilities that allow you to have point and click success from an integration perspective. So as you create and build solutions with the Power Platform, having these connector capabilities enables all of the end users who are creating and delivering solutions, from pro developers to subject matter experts, to have that point and click away to success to create integrations to a wide suite of features and services. And this is, there's a little over 1,400 different connectors in the ecosystem today. That covers a wide range of services, all the Microsoft and Azure related services, and to other services like SAP. So it's an incredibly powerful suite of functionality that, like I said, is really about simplifying that integration experience to different data sources. Now, in the outermost layer, this is really about the core pillars of the platform, and I'll cover them kind of from a left to right perspective, kind of starting with Power BI. Power BI in itself is really the analytical engine of the platform. And that's really the capability to really bring together those multiple data sources to really create these incredibly powerful visuals and analytics to really be able to look at your data and help you identify trends within it. Power Apps, as we'll see, is really about that UI interaction or interface of the platform. And that really works together with Power Pages, and what we can cover those really together and kind of understanding what the capabilities are. But as I mentioned, they're really about kind of creating that UI capability to engage either with your internal staff, your employees, and creating solutions through things like Canvas applications or model-driven applications, to creating dynamic-driven websites, data-driven websites through Power Pages. And that allows you to have websites that really are potentially are engaging with your external stakeholder base, your external members, or if you really need to have the capability, you can use Power Pages to engage with your internal audience as well. Now, Power Automate there in the center is really about being the workhorse or the automation center of the platform. And Power Automate has expanded quite a bit over the years, evolved from, delivering these asynchronous kind of flows or kind of cloud-based or what we call digital process automation flows, and has really expanded to a broad suite of capabilities to include things like RPA capabilities now, process mining, and the approvals engine as well. So it's an incredibly powerful tool set in its own right to really be able to create automation experiences across the enterprise, not just automation experiences tied to applications, but creating some powerful automations that are across the enterprise to help streamline processes and other capabilities. And then finally, Copilot Studio is really, I would say, the newest member of the platform itself, and is not really new in a sense of a complete new application. It was previously known as Power Virtual Agents, and then been kind of rebranded in this AI age that we're in to be Copilot Studio. And this is really about kind of creating the UI to the AI capabilities of the platform. Pardon me. And as I mentioned, so creating UI to AI is really about this developing and creating these custom agents. An agent is really our way of kind of describing this intelligent assistant that is there to help you with task and other types of automations, either through the traditional kind of task-based chatbots or agents experience where you have somebody where you can engage with using your own natural language through a simple chat interface that might be hosted on a website or in a Teams channel, to the full scale of leveraging an autonomous agent to be listening and reacting to events and triggers in the organization to drive automations in that way. And then finally, that upper layer, looking at the M365 Copilot, the Copilot experience has also now been completely embedded across the pillars of the platform to serve as an accelerator. Pardon me, really sorry for this. Uh, Excuse me. So the Copilot experience in the Power Platform is really this incredibly powerful now AI assistant is there with me as a maker, really across all those pillars that I touched on, from Dataverse, Power Apps, Power Automate, to help me create my solutions faster, to help me realize and create and design powerful Power Page websites faster, and even using leveraging Copilot and AI to create additional Copilots and agents faster. It's an incredibly powerful experience there today that's really about enabling more individuals to engage with the solution making experience and expanding beyond IT services. And ultimately, what the Power Platform then allows you to do as an organization is creating scale by enabling and empowering everybody to really engage with the platform to design solutions. Mark, can you move on to the next slide? So when we think about that, you can just build it out, Mark. Actually, there's a couple of clicks there. So when we think about, what that means of kind of creating scale to the organization and the enterprise, is really enabling everybody in the enterprise, from subject matter experts to business users, to be able to look at and leverage the Power Platform and its tools, specifically looking at kind of leaning on the Copilot capabilities, be able to effectively create and design solutions without the need of IT. Now, that doesn't mean you don't necessarily need IT. We move on to that center kind of idea of kind of leaning on the low code capabilities, where we do want to be able to start collaborating with IT to be able to kind of finish building out some of those ideas and bringing them into production nature, or maybe growing them a bit more beyond the capabilities that we create in our solutions in the no-code space. And then finally, the platform enables even the pro developers of the enterprise to be able to create incredibly powerful solutions and applications across the platform by engaging with, the deeper services from Azure. So it may be everything from Azure AI Studio to bringing more intelligence and from, maybe organizationally trained large language models, engaging with, powerful components like Azure Service Bus. But that allows you to still work with the low code capabilities of the platform, that point and click away to success capabilities, but still collaborating with IT services to develop that full enterprise driven solution. And all of this is really, again, about kind of looking at that perspective of creating scale and efficiency in the organization. So by enabling the many, we're able to deliver solutions a little more rapidly, and that ultimately creates time for our employees or your employees to be able to engage with members and stakeholders, spend a little more time with them and creating a better experience for them overall. On the next slide. And if we look at kind of what the impact of Copilot itself really enables us to do, it's always looking at how that's impacting my ability to quickly develop solutions. So we're seeing tremendous success in terms of reducing the amount of time that I have to move my mouse around to click and create solutions, being able to engage with the Copilot experience to use my own natural language to describe what I needed to do, to add any actions and update as required. And that's creating more satisfaction from the employees who are creating solutions, because they're able to move from their idea that they can describe, but might not be able to have the right tools to be able to build. But now being able to use this describe or design experience, we're seeing tremendous uptake in terms of adoption and success from that perspective. Go ahead, next slide, Mark. And I apologize, folks, for the cough. I'm just getting over a little bit of a cold, and it seems to be lingering on. So as we think about kind of that success of extending and creating solutions, we look at it a little bit more from a Power Apps perspective and leveraging its capability to be able to deliver solutions. It's really about kind of looking at how we can help eliminate manual processes, right? A lot of organizations out there today might have manual processes that might be posted in Excel sheets, or maybe they're based in SharePoint and a list, or maybe it's just something that's tracked on a Word document that, as things are being tasks are being completed, they're updating documents or Excel sheets along the way. So looking at the Power App, Terribly sorry, folks. So looking at Power Apps in itself to create solutions to help eliminate these manual capabilities. So there are tools within the Maker portal. When we think about kind of starting to create an idea or an application, you can actually bring your Excel sheet to the Power Apps application, and it will use AI to help determine what that could look like. It'll help you create a data model. It'll help you kind of create the fields and columns and help generate an application so that you're moving away from a manual process and bringing it into that application experience. And when you do this with the Power Platform and creating apps and solutions this way, you're heightening the visibility of that process. So moving away from this manual track process where there's limited visibility, especially from IT services perspective or other capabilities, bringing it into the Power Platform and Power Apps, you're creating visibility to the organization to be able to quickly understand what is happening with that process, creating more engagement in terms of being able to support and identify when there might be escalations. But you're also creating things like leaning on the audit capabilities that come along with Dataverse. So in terms of understanding when things were last updated, the state of the records and all those capabilities. So that helps you really bring that experience in. And then you can lean on tools within the tools within Power Apps itself, really then that help start defining the important business logic that needs to happen. And you can do that with the out of the box business rules, which are all about kind of point and click away to success capabilities to define dynamicness of the forms, enforcement of kind of required data sets, and then all the way to leaning on the Power of X language in itself, which is used within the Power Platform. And this is an expression style language, which is very similar to kind of working with Excel languages and functionality. So individuals who have that experience can easily kind of come to the Power Platform and create these powerful experiences around their applications. And then ultimately at the end of this, from moving it into the application, I talked about kind of having that visibility. You're going to then overlay features like ALM features, and that really is about ensuring that this new process, now that we move from a manual process into an application experience, that things like change management, traceability in terms of releases when they move into production can be tracked by using the built-in capabilities like the Power Platform pipelines to ensure that they're well protected and following standardized development practices. One of the really exciting thing I'll touch on here just before we move from Power Apps, one of the really exciting announcements coming out of Ignite actually was what's called the Design Maker, the Plan Designer for Power Apps in itself. And that's a really incredibly powerful experience leaning on AI capabilities that takes my idea from a simple description and then takes me through the steps and scenarios that help me further define what the business problem and that idea might be. It walks you through creating personas who might be engaging with those applications, helps you create the data model and test data to go with it. But what's incredibly powerful that it also will create and suggest ideas in terms of what types of applications might be needed in terms of Canvas app, model-driven applications, and the automations and Power Automate as well. So it's a really incredibly powerful experience that really is about enabling everybody to really come and work with the platform and help kind of generate not just the ideas, but the platform will generate the application and automations for you as well. And with that, Mark, we can move on to the next slide. So as we think about automations, this is really where Power Automate steps in to really start to be able to shine. And as I mentioned earlier in the overview, Power Automate itself has come a long way from being just sort of a Cloudflow tool that really creates automations between applications. And it's really, and it's being able to expand into a much more broader footprint into the organization because of that connector ecosystem. The connectors themselves, like I said, they're a little over 1,400, but that allows us now to really create connections and automations between data repositories that are in the organization to user experiences. And what we mean by that is looking at, automations that might be triggered from, experiences triggered from websites where your stakeholders and members are engaging. Maybe it's events happening in new applications or legacy applications, and really about then creating those automations to the data repositories behind the scenes. And those could be data repositories that are siloed away. Maybe they're data that is in silo databases, maybe in on-premise or their cloud systems. And it's really about leveraging Power Automate then to really bring those together to create automations. And what it allows you to do then is leverage tools within Power Automate, like the approval capability, which is built in to be able to kind of create these streamlined business approvals. So again, if we think about kind of moving that legacy process where maybe it's just tracking who's completing tasks in an Excel sheet, and if there's escalations involved, maybe that's an email that's being sent out. Moving all those components into the Power Platform and creating automations that are reacting or listening to the data that's being created, you're now able to kind of create these data-driven digital automations where based on the data, it might be triggering approvals that you can configure that has its own suite of business rules that now helps streamline that entire process. And the approval engine is incredibly powerful because it creates the capability to deliver approvals in line into the tools that your employees are using. So we think about escalations that might be going to a manager. Maybe you want to send those approvals straight to their inbox. You can engage them through Teams notifications and be able to have visibility now on who is accountable for that approval and what the status is. It's an incredibly powerful way to really start thinking about how we streamline all of those automations together. Now, in the last 12 months to 18 months, AI has been incredibly popular in terms of kind of creating these powerful new experiences, and it's definitely here in the Power Automate experience and being able to bring in artificial intelligence into our automations to create these incredibly powerful capabilities. And one of those is actually by leaning on some of the capabilities from the AI Builder tool that's part of the Power Platform to create these customized prompts. And what's really powerful about these prompts and capabilities that we're able to now bring in is we're able to bring in everything from looking at data classification, sentiment analysis, document extraction capabilities. And it's really about, you're able to define all these interactions or through, again, using my own natural language or your own natural language really to describe what you need to happen. One of the really exciting announcements, actually, again, referring back to Ignite with AI Builder and the prompt capabilities, is actually to be able to do document extraction through a simple prompt. So creating a simple definition of asking, the AI capabilities to extract information from a document. It actually moves that data now into like a JSON format, and that's from a developer perspective, that's incredibly powerful because now we have the data in such a way that you can either make inline data-driven decisions based on the data that's coming, or move that data into a data repository for further analysis or storage. And we've seen huge benefits from these capabilities in the automation world. And it doesn't really have to be an automation attached to a particular application. Like automations can exist across the organization. And we see a popular pattern where maybe it's documents that are being emailed in that you need to be able to rapidly process and make determination on. And using Power Automate, you can connect it to an inbox. And then as these attachments coming in, do the document extraction to make further data-driven decisions with it. In terms of the other capabilities in Power Automate, I'll touch on them really quickly before we move on to the other slide, but there's an incredible powerful capability from an RPA perspective, and that allows you to kind of create these automations with all sorts of systems that historically may not either be cloud hosted, could be on-prem, but also may not have an API capability. So with those capabilities in the RPA world space, you're able to kind of create, like I said, these automations that are running either in that hosted capabilities or unattended or not attended. And that really allows you now to, again, create automations, again, as I mentioned before, but connecting data silos that may be legacy or inaccessible and connecting it with the rest of the organization, bringing it out to maybe cloud-based organizations or even streamlining processes, legacy processes that require a lot of manual repetitive data entry, leaning on RPA to help streamline some of those capabilities. And the last one I'll touch on from the Power Automate capability is actually the process mining, which is one of my favorite capabilities that I think every organization can gain benefits from. And that's really being able to take a process and create a simple recording, either a recorded process or taking event logs from the existing process and allowing the tool to analyze that process from end to end to help you identify bottlenecks. And this is incredibly powerful to identify areas where the process becomes a bottleneck, where it's slowing down. And Copilot in this scenario will actually help you not only identify them, but actually create suggestions in terms of applications or automations through Power Automate that will help you alleviate or that bottleneck, which means you're continuously improving it. So it's incredibly powerful in that suite as well. And the last tool we'll do a little bit deep dive is really looking at custom agents Copilot Studio. And this has been a really exciting space in the last year to see how generative AI is really starting to come alive in its own right in a tool that allows you to create these incredibly powerful interaction capabilities for your end users. If you think of internal stakeholders who want to have improved experiences and better experiences working with the tools internally, but when you create these custom agents, you can also have the capabilities to deploy them to multiple channels. So that means you can also deploy them out to your public facing websites as well to improve their experience as members are engaging with your organization. And that really opens up the door to, like, if we think about creating custom agents who want to improve the stakeholders or memberships experience with the organization, being able to rapidly create answers based on FAQ or other knowledge sources is incredibly powerful. And you can quickly create these custom agents connected to your internal knowledge sources without writing code. Right? So going back to that, being able to create solutions either through low code or no code capabilities, creating powerful custom agents that are leveraging knowledge sources and creating generative AI capabilities. All of that can be completed in a point and click way to success capabilities. And that allows you again to look at, how you're creating these power experience, not just for your members, but even looking at how it impacts your internal employees. So creating these customized experiences, you might look at even creating custom agents that are helping entire departments, entire teams. We see there's quite a popular trend in creating agents to help support, say HR related questions, even internally, like how do I book vacation? What are the policies for booking, vacation or vacation, overflow into the next year in terms of saving holidays. Those are some powerful trends we see in terms of kind of helping even just the internal employee experience. You can also create those custom agents again to attach to your membership driven systems, to leverage knowledge based articles or other sources to improve the experience of the employees who are working to solve and help resolve member issues by allowing the custom agent to generate answers to help generate solutions. But it can even help you generate, improved emails and respond to emails in an autonomous way as well. And as I mentioned, like what's really exciting about the custom agents is really about being able to publish them through the multiple channels. So again, if you're creating employee experiences, you can deploy them through Teams in itself, or you can actually have them embedded and working within the application experience or solutions that you're creating, through Power Apps or through Power Pages as well. But you can also, again, deploy them to your existing websites as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be only deployed to Power Platform created solutions. They can go to external based solutions as well. So when we think about kind of bringing, these tools together, and that's really what's incredibly powerful about the Power Platform is not that, you don't have to use one tool only to kind of create solutions. The powerful capability, the scaling capability of the platform is about combining these tools together. And because it is one platform, these tools natively are aware of each other and being able to interact and seamlessly work together to create powerful solutions over time. And I'm a huge fan of the analogy of looking at it from a Lego perspective, as you kind of create and build things, to create these wonderful, powerful capabilities in Lego and kind of creating these models or solutions. It's the same thing with the Power Platform, is that you can kind of pick and choose the capabilities to bring together to kind of create these incredibly powerful solutions over time. When we think about it from, the objective, if we think about helping redefine productivity, that's really about, again, looking at how do we create improved scale across the organization. And when we create scale, we create time and for our employees. And that's really looking at driving, if you're thinking about digital transformation, the more time and scale that we have with our employees to create solutions, it's going to be better for our membership overall, right? And the more time that our employees have, the more time they're able to engage with memberships and stakeholders to help improve their experience. So when we look at this, this scenario here, leaning on Copilot Studio, you can create an agent that's really about streamlining and answering questions from multiple knowledge sources. You're able to, that can be integrated into an application. Maybe it's an application that you create to help track, issues or complaints or other components that might be coming in from the membership, and being able to track them in a Power App solution, leaning on the capabilities of Copilot Studio, that can help you kind of streamline how quickly you're able to generate answers based on the knowledge sources that you're able to respond and resolve those outstanding issues. And then you can drive automations behind the scenes using Power Automate to help streamline that as well. And so, and then, again, if we look at the other impact, obviously, of looking at leveraging the Power Platform, is that it allows you to help kind of reduce your development costs in terms of being able to rapidly create solutions, right? So the Copilot experience, the AI experience that is now within the platform, not just in the individual tools to be able to rapidly build those individual solutions. As I mentioned, we now have the plan designer capability that is really about allowing you to rapidly create a solution that is actually connected across multiple tools in the platform. So creating a solution that takes advantage of model-driven and Canvas applications and Power Automate from an automation perspective is an incredibly powerful capability that is really going to help you reduce the time to move from an idea into that MVP version of an application. Pardon me. So, so by doing that, right, you're again leveraging these AI capabilities to rapidly create your saving time from both the IT services perspective, the collaboration, and with the subject matter experts. The subject matter experts are able to kind of get deeper engaged with the experience using the local capabilities. So that really creates, the time, creates the space and the scale to really reduce the costs, right, of developing solutions. So moving away from that classic style of developing homegrown applications where you might have a lot of effort in terms of writing and developing code, moving it into a low-code platform really accelerates and kind of lowers that development time and costs. And then finally, going back to improving efficiency, and I always like this one from the perspective again of organizational scale and in the automation experience. So Copilot Studio, we talked a lot about it in terms of being that natural language interface to AI capabilities. But the autonomous capabilities today that are there with being able to create these custom agents that are autonomous, that means the agents now can be sitting there also listening to triggers in the same way that we can create automations from a Power Automate perspective of kind of listening for an event to happen, and we give it clear instructions of what to do. An autonomous agent in this experience now is really powerful in the fact that we're able to describe what we need it to do. So you provide it, a suite of instructions and walking it through in terms of understanding, when an email arrives, make a determination based on the sentiment analysis, and then, maybe the next step should be to escalate out to the manager to identify that there's an issue coming in. When you describe this in an autonomous way, you're actually giving a set of instructions what the agent should be able to do, and you actually define and create a set of skills for it to be able to do. And it uses then generative AI to help make a determination when it's using one or the other to create those powerful automations across the enterprise. And then Power Automate in itself, it is incredibly powerful in terms of looking at opportunities where there's a structured business process that is well defined, and we really want to be able to have it. It's always going to follow a structured process. So I touched on kind of leveraging the approval capability. That's such a powerful capability where, you're able to kind of create these definitions of, when something needs to be escalated. So attaching it to maybe a data-driven decision, maybe it's based on, again, looking at it from if it's a sentiment analysis, if it's a member issue that's been identified, using AI within the automation and Power Automate side, it can help identify again what the sentiment might be, what action items need to be taken from an AI prompt capability. But maybe then you want to lean on Power Automate to create these, inline approval capabilities that will allow you to kind of escalate that item really, really quickly. And, leveraging all these capabilities to help improve the efficiency is really about improving the response time to the stakeholders or to the members. And that ultimately really allows you then to start improving your engagement with them, improving your response time. And I think that's incredibly powerful capability to have within the platform.
Thank you, Todd. That great insight. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this important conversation on digital transformations. Once again, as a next step, I encourage you to take advantage of our Microsoft funded workshop. We'll share more information how to participate that once again with a follow-up email. So before we wrap it up, we'll open up the floor for a Q&A. We still have a little bit of time here. Let's see if there's anybody has any questions that Todd and I can answer for you guys. Okay, we have a question here. How does Power Automate streamline communication, such as spending acknowledgement emails and providing tracking numbers for submission? That's question number one, Todd.
Yeah, so in terms of streamlining communication, for sure, like I think I touched on a couple of those themes along the way, but having Power Automate kind of listening to an inbox, or maybe it's a data-driven decision that as it's coming into your membership management system, it can definitely, there's connectors there to connect it to, different types of email functionality. I mean, Outlook is there for sure. There are other connectors to connect to other different types of email systems. So you can definitely have it listening and reacting to those triggers as they're coming in. With Power Apps capability as well, you can even also have the capability where that Power Automate flow is actually connected to a button. So maybe it's a scenario in the application where, maybe after a record has been closed, Power Automate is going to wake up and send out a standardized template or email communication of what's behind the scenes. Maybe like I said, it could be action triggered where somebody in an application is triggering something by clicking on a button to send that automation or notification. So those capabilities are definitely there as well. And and with that, when you send out, pardon me, and then really in terms of sending out those emails or those communications, leaning on the connector ecosystem in Power Automate, it really has that capability to retrieve data injected in dynamically in those communications. So you really able to kind of create those streamlined communications pretty effectively.
Excellent. Thank you, Todd. Next question. Is it possible to build a feature in Power Apps to compare submitted documents against predefined rules for automated compliance checks?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's actually it's some of the newer capabilities. I think that AI really opens up the potential to kind of create a solution to that nature. So as I mentioned, like there is, I look at a tool like AI Builder as being a really core component of that capability. So AI Builder has standard models that are kind of machine learning models that you're able to kind of do document extraction, so identifying data as they come out, and you can kind of do it from the perspective of kind of extracting the data from the different models and creating a comparison from the record perspective. The other path to looking at creating that solution is actually looking at AI and the prompt builder capability, and that's come such a long way in a short time in terms of the AI capabilities of the platform to be able to now take inputs, and those inputs would be the documents that are coming in, and then creating a simple prompt asking AI to look at both documents and create that comparison for you.
Excellent. Thanks again, Todd. And last question that I have right now. Does Power Apps allow for the implementation of an automated bot to handle requests such as disputes or to answer frequently asked questions from the public?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I touched on this theme a little bit as well. Yeah, and I think like you're looking at, that can be both from, I would say, the classic style bot of what most people kind of associate when they think about a chat bot, where it's an on-demand driven answer. So as I'm asking you questions, it could be responding, leaning on the generative AI capability to create those answers from the knowledge sources that it has access to. So that's definitely easiest way to go there. The autonomous agent, like I said, that's a little more always listening capability. So as questions might be logged into the system, the autonomous agent could be helping generate responses and sending them out, or generating responses and sending them, maybe updating the record in the system itself so that an employee has time to review that response before they're being sent out to the member to ensure correctness of the information.
Okay, it looks like I think that's all the questions we have for now, unless anybody has anything else they would like to ask Todd. So it doesn't look like we have any further questions. So once again, thank you, Todd, for your time today, and thank you everybody for joining us. I hope everybody found this very informative, and hope everybody has a great week. So thank you, everybody, once again. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.